Hello everyone, my name is Tyler Schmidt, and today I will be discussing the comments and the questions that I received from my first video called My Stutter Story Breakthrough. I will also be discussing and telling a story of how I rekindled a friendship from over 10 years ago. That's a pretty crazy story, but first I want to start by talking about my first video that I posted. I was honestly pretty scared to post that, especially because of my pre-tape was hard to watch, and I knew a lot of people didn't know how bad that my stutter actually was. I debated on even shortening the pre-tape a little bit, but I didn't. And the love and support that I received was absolutely unbelievable. It was truly amazing. There were so many people who contacted me through texts, emails, calls, direct messages through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything. And to those people, I say thank you so much for contacting me. I wanted to publicly thank each and every one of you and share your name. So I'm going to do that now. I honestly can't thank you enough for sharing your kind words and even sharing the posts of my video, and just the support that I've received is something that I knew was possible, but I didn't think to this extent. So I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who commented, who shared, who connected to me personally. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Now onto the questions and comments. I wrote down the three main questions that I received from everybody. So we're going to start with the first one. Here it is. Question 1. Why was it so hard to do that interview, but I was never able to tell you had a stutter? I'm going to answer this in a two-part way. I knew that this would be the most common question that I received because I knew there was a lot of people who didn't know I had a stutter to begin with. So the first answer I would say is, in situations such as interviewing, going through drive-thrus, public speaking, everything like that is a lot harder for me to speak clearly to like an audience or to a group of people. I would say that's like the most hard part of having a stutter, is to do that compared to just personal conversation, especially if our conversation was, for example, playing basketball. Like, I didn't have a problem with like calling out pick right, screen here, screen there, help side. I didn't have a whole lot of problems with that, but if there was a stoppage in play and I had to call it a play, that's when everything started heating up and I needed to provide an answer. That's when I would have these blocks or these stutters and I couldn't be able to speak. I actually have an example of this as well. In 9th grade at Big Lake High School, I was practicing and the coach asked me to play point guard. So I had to call up plays, and I had all my teammates all in their positions, and I had to call up plays against a 2-3 zone defense. So the coach would tell me the play in my ear, and I would tell all my teammates the play to run. He told me the play, I tried to say the play and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get it out. I would stutter on my words and I would like stomp my feet to try and get it out. And it looked weird, so immediately the coach like saw I had a struggle with all that, so then he decided just to call the plays himself. So after that zone practice segment, we got a break to head and get some water and stuff, and I had a bunch of my teammates were coming up to me saying, "Hey man, is everything okay?" They even asked if I had a seizure. I was like, so I tried to like act like as if I had a cold, like a sore throat, like I couldn't speak it out, but so that was kind of tough. But it's an example of how I was able to like talk in like if in a game and stuff, like calling on the help side, but as soon as I had to provide an answer or to provide any type of speaking to a team, to everything like that, I couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. So that was one example. The other example would be I became great at hiding my speech. I became an expert at hiding how I talk to other people. So, for instance, if I knew I would struggle with the word struggle, I would say, instead of struggle, I would say, I have a hard time doing yada yada yada. So, instead of saying, I struggle to call out plays at basketball practice, I would say, I have a hard time calling out plays at basketball practice. So that's just one example of how I would change it, I guess. I still to this day struggle with that and changing my wording too often. So I need to hammer that down as a habit and just constantly practice that, and to kind of just monitor what I'm saying and say it how I want to say it instead of changing my words so I feel like I'm saying it better, but I'm truly not. But if you think about it, I've had a speech impediment for 25 years, so it's became a habit to do that. But that's something I need to work on every day, just to say what I want to say instead of changing my wording so it can come out easier for people. I need to concentrate on that. So that's question one. Question number two. How do people get a speech impediment, and why is it more common in men? So I don't want this channel to just be about me talking. I am planning on bringing on other people as well, but not today. Hopefully soon. But I'm gonna plan on bringing some friends, maybe some family, coaches, people that stutter, who have either cured their stutter or currently do stutter, some speech pathologists, pretty much anyone, honestly. And I want to give people who stutter or people who have stuttered in the past a comfortable platform to share their story. I want to give friends, family, and coaches a platform to share how they kind of helped me out and the journey that I had. And then I want to bring on a speech pathologist to help answer like this type of question, and that I don't really know the answer to, but I will attempt to answer this question. So I know it's more common to have a speech impediment if you have a family member who also has a speech impediment, but in my case, I don't. So as far as I know, I am the only person in my entire family tree that has a speech impediment, so I don't really fall into that category. However, there are two factors that can result in having a stutter or a speech impediment. The first would be developmental stuttering. That is when, as a child, you begin to speak and you often stutter as you speak. But then as you grow, you get older, you still stutter and still have that problem. At times, it could be because a certain thing happened in your childhood that you couldn't control. For me personally, I had a friend who passed away when I was about 3 years old in a car accident. And the other one was I ran into a glass door that I obviously thought was open and was not. And I hit my head pretty hard. So I don't know if that type of thing could have caused my speech to be worse than it could have been, but I guess I will never know. The other factor would be neurological stuttering. So this is when the signals between your brain and speech, they have a hard time connecting. So in case you had like a brain accident or a stroke, after that you tend to stutter or tend to have a hard time on your speech and talking like that. So that's part of it. Again, I'm not sure what I'm obviously in the category of developmental stuttering, but I don't really know how per se it happened. It just did. But then the other question was, why is it more common in men compared to women? And I honestly don't know the answer to this as well. I do know that it is 4 times more likely to happen to men than to happen to women, but I don't know why that is. I know some experts believe there are neurological reasons for this, but I'm not exactly sure if they know why that is, so I'm truly not sure why. However, I'm hoping to bring on speech pathologists to the channel that can help explain why you get a stutter, how you get a stutter, why it's more common in men. But so that's the plan going forward, is to help answer these type of things that I can't answer. So there's question 2 for you. Question number 3. Can I share your video to others? Absolutely yes. You are more than welcome to share any of my previous videos or this current video to anyone who is interested in seeing it. That's kind of my whole purpose of this channel, is to connect with people who have a stutter or a speech impediment. I know stuttering sucks. I know the influence it can have on your overall how you live life. I know as like a stutterer, it's extremely hard to get my dream job. I've applied for some incredible jobs. I've had interviews for incredible jobs that, as you can see in my pre-tape, that's pretty much how they went. And as an interviewee, it's hard to hire someone after you see that and hear that, even if they have great experiences and education. I understand, coming from their shoes, how tough that decision can be to bring someone on who has a stutter. And then I have dreams of getting married and having kids. Well, as a stutterer, you know if you're going to get married, you have to say vows. And you know how hard that is to do, to speak to an audience. Even if they're behind you, you know how difficult that is. Even if they're your own family members and friends, how hard that can be. As a father, I want to be able to coach my son or my daughter's games in athletics, or help them out any way I can. And I did a little coaching in college, but I never really could contribute as much as I want to contribute. So those are some examples of what I have in mind, of some goals that I want to achieve that I haven't achieved yet. And it's been hard to achieve in the past because of a stutter that I've had. But there are a lot of examples that you could find that other people have dreams of doing that they haven't really been able to do. And it's been kind of hard. So how about this? Picture a 10-year-old boy. Let's call him Tommy. Let's say Tommy gets up in the morning and goes to school. And then his 3rd period class is a reading class that Tommy has to take. And he knows in that class they are going to go around the room and read from a school book that they have. Each student will have to read a paragraph. But Tommy's so stressed out about the 3rd period class that he can't concentrate in his first 2 classes of school. So then he can't really pay attention, he doesn't know what's going on, but then because he's so stressed out about this third class. Then it gets to this third class, and he's counting the kids in his class, and he's trying to figure out the paragraph that he has to read. And he finds his paragraph that he has to read, and he notices the first word he has to read is tomorrow. He knows he struggles on the word tomorrow, so he's only focused on his paragraph, and he's concentrating on how he can say tomorrow without anyone knowing that he has a speech impediment or a stutter. And then, so he can't really pay attention to the book that they are all participating in, so he's only concentrating on his part. Comes to his part, he's trying to say the word tomorrow, it comes out as tomorrow. And then he glances around, he sees some kids chuckling, some kids are like, what's going on? And then he notices he's only got through one word out of about 100 words that he has to read in this paragraph. So his anxiety is just through the roof, his stomach's in knots, but he gets through it. Some way or another, he gets through it. And then after class, in the hallways, some kids are taunting him, they're like mocking him, saying, Tommy can't read the tomorrow. They're taunting him, they're mocking him, and he has to go through that his whole day in class and in school. And then let's say he comes home and his parents are asking him, so Tommy, how was your day at school? And he goes, the only thing he can spit out or say is, it was fine. But he can't really express how his school day actually went. So he just says it was fine, mom and dad is fine. But how about if you don't have a good home life and your parents, let's say, are alcoholics? And they're like, oh, they're already mad at something that happened at their job, and they come home and they don't know why you have a stutter. They're mad at why you have a stutter. They don't know how to help you, but they're just overall mad in general. And then you don't have anyone to talk to, because at school, the friends that you thought you had, it's cooler to make fun of the person who stutters than to be friends with the person who stutters. So you don't really have anyone to talk to as a friend. You're just kind of just hanging out, and then you get hungry, and then you're interested in eating. So you go to the candy store, you're interested in some candy, and you're trying to tell the cashier that you want that chocolate bar up there, but you can't get the words out. You can't say, you just can't speak the word chocolate. So then you can't really get the bar you wanted. You potentially have to get some other bar. You potentially have to try and point and sign if you're interested in that bar up there. So then you get frustrated and you just leave. You just go back home. You're not starved, but you just kind of just like a little depressed about everything that happened in school, at home, and then you just go to bed, get up and do it again. I know that's kind of an extreme example, but that's what happens to people who stutter, or that's what can happen to someone who has a stutter. I want to connect with that Tommy, or that kid, or that guy, girl, adult. I want to connect with that person and to help them out, to kind of explain to them what I did to help my stutter, what I can connect with a person. I can connect to a stutter how only stutterers can really connect. That's what I really want to do. I'm not a big promotional guy. I don't want to promote my stuff, but I did notice that I had 1,000 views on my last video, and that is fantastic. That's super cool. But then I also saw I only had about a fraction of those people who viewed the previous video, who subscribed to the channel, or who hit that thumbs up. There weren't a lot of people who did that. So to kind of grow on the channel, to connect with other people, I need that to go a lot higher than it is currently. So if you could like and subscribe, it's free to do so. So that would be fantastic if you could do that, so I can grow and connect with other people who have a speech impediment. That would be fantastic. Thank you so much. There's question 3. Story time. So for the remainder of this video, I'm going to talk about how I rekindled a friendship from over 10 years ago. It sounds pretty crazy, but it's true. That would be Jack Frazier. So, as you can see in the pictures, Jack and I were pretty much inseparable in high school. We hung out together all the time, we went on vacations together, we played basketball together. Even though I was 2 years older than him, he was still a friend I hung out with all the time. It did not matter where we were or what we were doing. We honestly hung out all the time, and it was awesome. But then, after I went to college at Augsburg, that was the start of us slowly growing apart. And then 2 years after, he went to Mankato State, and I was a junior at Augsburg still. And that is when we truly started to grow apart. And every time I say grow apart, I mean we literally didn't talk to each other for 10 years. That's a long time. 10 years is a long time. So then after I posted my first video, I heard from a lot of people, but the person I heard from that was the most shocking was Jack. And I was honestly floored as soon as I saw a notification on my phone saying it was from Jack. And he was saying how I had a cool video, how he was so proud of me through that. And then he said after that, it was probably 5 hours after that or so, he asked me if I was interested in getting coffee, going on a walk and chatting and stuff. And I was floored by that as well. But I said yes, absolutely, I would love to do that. So then the next day we actually met for coffee, and I don't like coffee, but for water and stuff like that. So, and I can honestly say it was a great walk. It went for 2 hours, which was a long time, but it was really cool to see how the two of us kind of just gelled together again. It was honestly as if we had talked 2 days ago. That's the kind of friendship that we have together, and it was really cool to see that. So thank you, Jack, for contacting me and asking to meet and stuff. It was cool to get in touch again, and we already have plans of doing that again, and I look forward to that, and I'm excited for that to happen. So, and with that will be the end of the video. Thank you everyone for watching. I will see you next week.